All right. For those of you that know me, or if you don't know, well, actually, for those of you that know me best, there's a cause that's very close, near and dear to my heart, and that is judging others. I love judging other people. I love judging other things. It's the best. And tonight we're going to be judging your favorite World War II movies. I've been looking forward to this for a long time. So here's the deal. Like I said, we're going to talk about why your favorite World War II movie sucks. What it could be the best movie ever, but yet there's still little cliches, little tropes that are tucked in that movie. And I'm going to give you an example real quick. Again, like I said, I like judging others, but I'm not above reproach. So when it comes to the movie Greyhound, one of my favorites, U-571, love that one. They all, yeah, right. Hold on a second. They all involve the same cliche, which is the torpedo swipe. Every Navy movie pretty much has that. So that's an example, just one example of what we're going to be talking about tonight. And of course, helping me out, we've got upper right-hand corner, Connor Kilgore from the Alexander Henry Museum ship, the Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay. Lower right-hand corner, John from the USS Slater in Albany, New York. Normally, Shane Stevenson will be joining us. He might be a little late. He's got to give a lecture tonight, so he might be joining us later on. And, you know, whether you love him or hate him, Tim Nesmith from the USS Kidd, he's the superintendent, USS Kidd Veterans Museum. So say hi, everybody.
Hello.
All right. Everybody. And then lower right-hand corner, I'm going to be introducing to you guys, we've never had him on before, John from the Armchair Commanders. Hold on a second here. Actually, I've got your logo. Where the heck is it?
Fancy.
Huh?
Maybe
yeah. So John does the Armchair Commanders podcast. You can check it out wherever you guys like to download your podcast. Spotify, Apple. They even put it on YouTube. Where else do you put your podcast out?
Pretty much everywhere. I mean, I go through a couple of different RSS feeds, so there's a strong chance it's on whatever you like to stream. But our primary ones are Spotify, Apple, and YouTube.
And what these guys do is they have different people come on, and I say they because John does it with his friend for years, partner Jack, and they pick apart war movies. So I've been on there. Tim's been on there. Shane's been on there. It's a good time. So we've got him on here tonight to help us tear apart some war movies. John, I want to ask you a little bit about your podcast, but before we do, Connor, give us your favorite war movie so we can tear it apart.
Ooh, okay. Okay, yeah, it's like, I'm not sure if it counts, so I have 3, but it's like Longest Day, Greyhound, and Band of Brothers. Those are my personal favorites.
All right, so
Tora, probably in 4th place.
Okay, so Greyhound. So John, if you were going to pick, and you know, I actually there's a pretty cool article that I'm going to be kind of leaning on tonight. It was an article written by Philip NMSC, 20 common tropes you'll find in war movies. And they're tropes like, well, here, let's pull some up. So, you know, we talked about the torpedo swipe, the letter, whether sending one home or the Dear John letter, don't die on me. You know, they thought the job would be better. Impossible missions. You get the idea. So, John, when it comes to Greyhound, what's something that stands out to you that makes, you know, Greyhound cheesy or cliche?
So, you know, I was fortunate enough we got to discuss this with Tim because obviously it was filmed on the ship that he oversees. And I thought it was a stellar movie. I don't remember off the top of my head what we rated it, but it was a pretty high rating. And I love the film. I'm highly disappointed in the fact that I never got to see it in theaters because of COVID.
That would have sounded great in theaters.
Oh, it would have.
Yeah. Yeah. So you think it's a great movie, even though it's got the cliche torpedo swipe in it?
Here's my but to it. The torpedo swipe, yeah, it is a cliche, and I think it's overdone. The moment in Greyhound that I hated with a passion was when they patch in, like, the German U-boats are basically antagonizing the destroyer, and like they're playing it over the intercom, and it's this very like stereotypical like German accent. It's like, I'm coming for you, Greyhound. I'm like,
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, that's right. He's howling into the microphone.
It's
And
there's
I
so
don't know
much-
if that would
there's so
even
much
be
tension.
possible. Would that even be possible for them to know what frequency?
No.
Yeah, Tim's shaking his head. No.
But the thing is that U-boats being an ever-present threat that could destroy you at any moment is such a fantastic plot device for creating tension that little extra bit just ruins it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It like takes the mystique out of this like hidden hunter thing.
I
Yeah.
think I agree with John. I actually probably blocked that out from my memory.
I think we all do.
Yeah, Connor's going, yeah, I think we all did.
Or you're re-traumatized now.
I just rewatched the scenes with the Flower Class Corvette on repeat, and I'm happy.
yeah. Because that
Go get him, Dickie.
Yeah,
that's
that's
right. Yeah, Dickie
yeah.
was the
So
Corvette.
that's part of the reason why Greyhound is one of my favorites. Is it's pretty much the only modern movie that has the Canadian Navy in it.
no
like-
kidding.
Yeah, like in recent
cool.
times, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I can't think of another one, especially with the Flower Class.
Okay. Well, you make a good point with the we're coming for you, Greyhound.
Yeah.
That
No,
you're
I
right.
agree.
That was pretty bad.
That's a pretty rubbish scene.
John Epp from the USS Slater. Give us a movie.
I'm horrible with this because I'm the sucker for everything, so I don't care. But I'll go with Connor, Band of Brothers. I know it's technically not.
No. That's a good example. All right. Band of
If I had to
Brothers.
pick my favorite all-time thing ever, it's Band of Brothers.
So ahead of time, hold on a second. What slide was that? So Band of Brothers, I'm going to throw out a couple cliches from Band of Brothers. But the problem is I actually think they were cliches that were really well done. So you guys are going to have to let me know. So let's see. Slide number 5. All right. The letter. Whether it's a Dear John letter or the letter home, this is something that's always played out over and over again in war movies. And if you think about Band of Brothers, Nixon got the letter from his wife, right? She's even taken the dog. So
Buck
that's
got one.
what?
Buck got one during Battle of the Bulge. Was his girlfriend or fiance broke up with him?
Oh,
Yeah,
He's
You're
sitting in
right.
the foxhole freezing and he's reading a letter.
yeah. I forgot about that.
There's
Yeah.
also another instance earlier in the series where it's the replacements episode where we don't see the letter itself, but Garnier is talking about another member of Easy Company saying like, oh, we're about to go on this jump, and his girlfriend's name is Doris, and he gets a Dear John letter, and the C-47 they're about to get into, the pinup is named Doris or something
Oh.
like that.
I never noticed that.
I don't remember that one either. That's a good point though. And then another one that popped into my head, another cliche that you see occasionally in movies is losing your weapon. You lose your weapon and you got to figure out what to do. Either you got to find some, an enemy gun or whatever. And of course, Dick Winters, when he jumps, he loses his rifle
Oh, yeah.
in the very beginning.
The
And
famous
then,
leg bag.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the C-47s were flying too fast.
Yep.
And all that stuff got ripped away. And then, of course, the other one, which he wasn't a drill sergeant. He was actually a captain. But you know, you got Captain Sobel playing the full metal jacket role of the nasty drill sergeant. So, what does Jack have to say? Garnier found about it with his brother. Oh, that's right. By reading a letter in Martin's jacket. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Give us some others, John. Can you think of any others?
Um,
Well, actually, no. Hold on a second, John. I meant John from Armchair Commanders. Any other cliches or tropes?
You know, there's one that we talked about on the episode that you joined with us from U571. Just a little bit, and despite it being absurd, it's actually a trope I really enjoy. Like, even though I think it takes away from a movie, I still really love it, and that is what we have dubbed hot sub on sub action.
Oh, you're talking about U571?
Yep.
Oh,
So
yeah.
submarine versus submarine under the water, and you know, we only, if I recall correctly, there's only like one recorded instance in history of a sub taking out another sub in that manner.
Actually, I think there's one instance in Indian naval history. I might be wrong, but I remember there is some instance in the 70s where a Pakistani and Indian sub fought each other underwater.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, see, I'm not familiar with that one, but I know John.
It's still exceptionally rare, though.
Yeah, it's super rare.
But war films would have you believe that like submarines are duking it out between each other all the time,
constantly.
And you're right. We did talk about that when I was on. And again, if you're just joining us, John is with the Armchair Commanders podcast. I was on there talking about the movie U571, which I enjoy a lot. It's one of my favorite movies. And John and his partner on the show, Jack, quickly proved or showed me why it's not one of the greatest movies. And yeah, so historically, you're right. I think it was the HMS
Bulldog, I think.
I don't think it was I thought it started with a V, like
I was thinking about the ship that actually sees the Enigma, not the sub first sub.
Oh, yeah. I think it was something like the Ventura or something was in a sub on sub battle, you know, against the German U-boat and won. Let's see.
But like I said, it's a silly trope, but I still love it. You know, I have a ton of tattoos, and one of the tattoos I have is of a World War II submarine being hit by a torpedo. So,
wait, where is that tattoo?
It's on my bicep.
Oh, you can't. Jeez, you got a lot of tattoos. Holy crap.
Yeah, I make poor financial decisions.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay.
How long did that one take?
Like 3 hours. Wasn't that bad.
All right, Nesmith, give us a movie.
Favorite movie or favorite guilty pleasure movie?
Hey, you know what? Who doesn't like a guilty pleasure? Oh, that's an interesting one. Again, so we've got John from the Armchair Commanders podcast, and he shared an interesting fact with me when I was on. Why don't you tell the folks what your most viewed? Oh, Shane's on. Hey, Shane.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
You remember John from Armchair Commanders?
Not at all. I've never seen him before in my life.
I'm very forgettable.
Hello, John. How are you?
Yeah,
I am splendid. How are you this evening?
Good. Thank you all. Continue on.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I was a little late.
So Shane's actually appeared on the Armchair Commanders twice. And Shane, what were the two movies that you did?
The Bedford incident was the first one. Cold War craziness at its finest. And then the Fighting Sullivans, a movie about the five boys.
Yeah. And in each case, John and Jack, you know, made comments. Well, everybody made comments about, you know, each movie. I will say the Bedford incident, which is a movie I'd never heard of. Pretty cool movie, especially the way it ends. Sidney Poitier is in there. Pretty great. The Fighting Sullivans, propaganda movie. Yeah.
Complete propaganda movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
That was the most war movie we've
That's
ever
right.
reviewed.
That's right. You said that. Yeah.
I forget the exact timing, but out of like, it comes in at just under 2 hours, and them being in the Navy accounts for maybe 10 minutes. 20 if you count them going to the recruiting station.
Right.
Sorry, Tim, I interrupted you. Oh no, what I was going to say was John had mentioned their most viewed or listened to podcast was about the movie
Down Periscope.
Is that still the case? Is that still your most listened to?
By a landslide.
What do you contribute that to?
I think most of it has to do with people who probably Google, like they want to find a particular funny clip from that movie. And because they're trying to find that, they see, like, I think a lot of it is accidental clicks, but I mean, I do get, like, checking the analytics on it, I do, like, get a solid watch time from most of the clicks. So I don't know if people are just really big, Rob Schneider fans or something, or Kelsey Grammer, but, to be fair, I thought I did, as Hoist Jack said, I also enjoyed that film. I thought it was very fun.
There is one line from Down Periscope that I quote, which is Rob Schneider. When Kelsey Grammer, they first look at the submarine, and Kelsey Grammer, turns to Rob, who's his executive officer, like, "What do you think?" And Rob Schneider says, "Sir, I think I need a tetanus shot just from looking at it." And I use that all the time. I love that. Other than that, yeah, it's a pretty bad movie. Let's see. So before we move on, I want to get Tim's favorite movie. Like I always say, though, we can't do this without subscribers and viewers. We don't do this unless you guys are tuning in, and we definitely appreciate it. So if you've got a movie that you want us to talk about, throw it in the comments. Let us know what your favorite movie is, and we'll tell you what's wrong with it. How much fun does that sound? And let us know where you're from, what YouTube channel you're tuning in on. Whether it's the Slater, Buffalo Naval Park, my channel, History X, USS Kid YouTube channel. Let us know where you're watching from, but also throw in your favorite movie, and we'll see if we can get to it. All right, so Tim,
favorite movie? Well,
like you said, guilty pleasure or your all-time favorite, doesn't matter.
Well, all-time favorite is Greyhound, obviously, for obvious reasons. I will say the thing I enjoyed most about Down Periscope, besides Lauren Holly, is the fact that you get to see Pampanito underway. I love just seeing the museum ships underway. Same thing for 13 Days. I would say after Greyhound, my favorite would probably be Memphis Belle. I really liked Memphis Belle.
Hey,
the pleasure, probably Apocalypse Now.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, Memphis Belle's a good one.
Memphis Belle's great too.
Yeah.
And you know what? That was, let's see, slide number 8. That was one where, it's one of the cliches is the impossible mission.
I actually learned something quite interesting the other day, and that is one of the producers for the 1990s film Memphis Belle. Their father was actually a producer for the wartime documentary Memphis Belle from the 40s. I found that to be just a kind of a weird coincidence to occur.
Yeah, no kidding. Was he like an advisor or?
I haven't really dug into it yet. I just, it's one of those fun facts you come across. But whenever we get around to doing that film, I'm definitely going to have some more research done on that so we can discuss it a little more.
Well, so let's dig into Memphis Belle though, because there's got to be some cliches all over the place. I mean, obviously it's an impossible mission that they complete, but there are some other Like one that comes to mind, let me see if I can pull it up, is the where is it? I think it's this one. The Don't Die on Me.
Yeah.
Is that
Where-
1917?
Yeah,
It
this is from 1917, but you know, in every war movie, inevitably there's the don't you die on me scene.
I think there's a moment in Memphis Belle where one of the gunners gets hit and like he's passed out, but then he like wakes up and he's like, guys, that poem I read to you earlier in the day I stole from Robert Frost.
Yeah, that's Danny, the radio operator.
Yeah.
And you had Zane.
Billy Zane played
Billy Zane, that's right.
Beard.
Yeah, he was pretending to be the doctor, which he was. Yeah, he had the key. Don't you die on me, or you do that one more time, I'm going to kill you. Any others that you can think of?
Didn't they have? It may have been a different movie. Didn't they have somebody trapped in the ball turret at one point?
Oh,
Yeah, like the ball turret blew up, but the guy was completely fine. Was just like,
Okay, yeah. Sean Astin, I think, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
John's right. The ball turret got blown away. He didn't get
He didn't get
stuck.
stuck.
Yeah, the ball turret got blown away, and they had to pull him up. That was a good one. Shane, while we're at it, give us a movie.
Favorite war movie?
Yeah.
Is that really a thing? Do people have like their favorite war movie? It's so interesting because it's, I don't know. I'm coming late to the party. I'm sorry.
Well, why wouldn't you think people? Why do you think people would not have a favorite war movie?
No, it just is kind of like it's antithetical, it seems, right? Like a favorite movie of people killing each other, right? Like, I don't know.
It's what is it? It's what?
It's like antithetical, but
See, now I got to look up antithetical.
yeah, you do, man. Let's keep going here.
Where's my phone?
I would like to say
let's go. I don't know. Like I really enjoyed. So I'll say not my favorite, but I really enjoyed Dr. Strangelove, and I really enjoy. I'm much more of a serious movie watcher. I know I'm stiff like that. It's kind of like I don't get into comedies really.
Well, Memphis Belle was not a comedy.
No. I'm just saying in general, like my movie watching.
Uh-huh.
So I would say Dr. Strangelove. I would say Full Metal Jacket. I would say Lord of the Rings. Apocalypse Now.
Okay, John, from our Armchair Commanders podcast, does Lord of the Rings count as a war movie?
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
Boom, 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 yeah.
Okay, I want to change my answer then.
Or Star Wars, right? Star Wars.
On our podcast, we have a very loose definition of what a war film is, but ultimately, the overarching story of Lord of the Rings is about an armed conflict between two opposing forces.
Mhm.
So, even though the first one is more adventure-esque, I would say in totality, Lord of the Rings is a war movie.
Oh.
I need to address something from the comments.
Go ahead.
Michael, who says, anyone like the submarine movie Below?
I've been meaning to say that. Yeah.
That's a hard no. Absolutely not.
That's on my watch list. I want to see that.
If you go to our list of episodes, we did Below immediately after U571 because we're like double submarine movie.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And no, it's a terrible film.
I will say Below is cool in the sense that it was filmed on Silver Sides. And I've been on Silver Sides, and it's really cool. I think that was the last time she left her dock. I think they pulled her out into Lake Michigan to film a couple shots.
Interesting.
Or something like that.
Oh, there's some good comments here.
Yeah.
My beef with it is that Below essentially was trying to be a Twilight Zone episode without any of the skillful writing.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be bad.
That's a pretty good review though. I'm sorry, not a favorable review, but I'd say accurate. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Okay, guys,
I'm sorry, Michael. Sorry to dunk on that.
We do have a serious question from Matt W. What's everyone's opinion of Midway?
Oh.
The original was really good.
Yeah,
I like the original.
Yeah, the original.
We're
was
talking about
fantastic.
2019's Midway here, folks.
Yeah.
The CGI was horrible, absolutely horrible.
Go ahead.
The CGI in the trailer turned me off from seeing the movie.
We did that one a while ago, and we had an individual from the National World War II Aviation Museum, which is located in Colorado Springs. They have the largest collection of airworthy World War II aircraft. So they have, Avengers, PBY, a B-25, like all this good stuff. They just got done restoring a Helldiver. It's a really awesome museum. I highly recommend checking it out if you're ever in Colorado. But we had one of their guys join us for it to discuss Midway. And what we kind of came to was like, factually, 2019's Midway, for the most part, is a historically correct or accurate film. But CGI and acting wise, it's awful.
Yeah. I would agree with that. Just a side note, I'm pretty sure it's the only version of the of the Pearl Harbor attack at the beginning that actually shows Nevada getting underway. There's like one shot, and I think it's like right before they climb across from Arizona, and you can see Nevada pulling away just in the background. From everyone else. It's like on screen for like literally 2 seconds. And I remember seeing that scene and going, hey, someone actually remembered that.
Yeah, I mean, they might even mention it just in like one sentence or something.
I don't think they do. It's purely just in the background. Some CGI artists remember that, oh, Nevada was pulling away at this point. Throw it in.
Boy, there's a lot of there's a
very small portion of Midway. One of the other issues with that film is that they were just trying to pack essentially 2 years of war into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
when they really should just focus on the one battle. But there's a small segment that shows film director John Ford, as he was serving in military during the war, filming the attack on Wake Island.
Yeah.
And it's only like 30 seconds, but I thought that was a terrific aspect of that film, and like an added little. It's a nod to Hollywood history that a lot of people kind of overlook.
Wait, is that the scene where they have the camera on top of the bunker?
Yeah, and he's like,
I thought that was Midway itself.
Yeah, I think that's what I thought. Who's actually filming at Midway at the time? Okay,
I probably got that wrong then, but
But you're right in your assessment. That was pretty cool. He's like, "Don't stop filming! Don't stop filming!"
Yes, yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Also, to just bring us back really quickly, Barry McCullough, he does point out that HMS Venture did actually torpedo U-864 while they were both submerged.
There you go.
As well.
Thank you, Barry. That's what I was trying to remember. So it was the Venturer.
Venture. Yeah,
just Venture.
I'm pretty sure it's Venture.
Okay,
I'll check.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Barry, got us close. Thank you. It was the Venture on the 864. The only, as John puts it, sub on sub action.
Hot sub on sub action.
Hot sub on
real
sub
hot
action during World War II.
It's got to be hot.
So for those of you that are
Adventurer. So yeah, he was right. Venturer.
Okay. Yeah. For those of you just joining tonight, we're talking about why your favorite war movie sucks. We're talking about the cliches and the tropes that commonly occur throughout war movies. And to help us out, we've got John from the Armchair Commanders podcast. He is, well, you know what? Actually, why don't you tell us how you came up with this idea for Armchair Commanders?
So it was kind of a twofold thing. I think like a lot of people during COVID being locked up and kind of, not able to do a lot of things, I really delved back into my love for film. And my co-host Jack, who's not with us tonight, he and I pretty much, that was our nightly or weekly routine in college together, was we watched every and all films that we did. Jack is very much into performing arts. He does a lot of stuff with local theater groups, stuff like that, which is why. So besides watching films with me, you know, having his perspective on performance is always nice. I got my degree in history from the University of South Dakota, but I thought about this for maybe like a year or a year and a half before actually getting into it. And the reason I finally got into it was my favorite podcast to listen to was about war movies, and they stopped. They had like a 3-year run called It Quits, and I was kind of left in this void where I was like, I'm consuming tons of war movies every week, and now I don't really have an outlet for discussing or thinking about them critically. So that's when I reached out to my buddy Jack, and I was like, do you want to start doing this? And then, you know, we've been very fortunate. Obviously, I'm here tonight talking to you guys, but we've been very fortunate in the fact that pretty quickly, lots of people within the history community were super supportive of us, have come and joined us on the show from, you know, whether it's, you know, Instagram or other YouTube channels or museums. I think that's one of the great things about the history community is how interconnected it is. But,
and like I started off by saying, you've had Tim on from the USS Kid to talk about Greyhound. You've had Shane on twice. I was on there to talk about U-571.
you'll be on again later.
Yeah. I hold the distinction for
The longest episode.
not the best episode apparently, but the longest
not
episode. What does that mean, John?
No, I actually think Tim would have taken that mantle, but
Longest? Yeah, because I am long-winded. I'm a tour guide.
Well, to be fair though, I forced Tim
you're
to
the best.
do a particular movie. He is the only guest that I've done that to. I'm sorry, Tim.
That's okay. That's okay. I'll do Return of the King, so we can talk
Okay,
about
we
the
can
Pelican
do
and the Rohirrim charge.
But yes,
Yeah.
when I bring a guest on to our show, generally speaking, with Tim being the exception, our standing rule is that as long as we haven't reviewed it yet, the guest gets to pick.
And when I come on, wait, when did we talk about? I forget the date. We changed the date.
I think it's at the end of the month. We'll be
Yeah.
recording.
Okay. So when I come on, one of my favorite movies, The Great Escape, not a Navy movie, but that's what we're going to be talking about
It's
next.
a classic though.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
one? The original or the newer one?
Oh, the
Oh,
original.
come on.
There's a
Yeah.
newer one.
I didn't
Yeah.
know there
20
was a
years
newer
ago?
one. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find that. But no, the original, Steve McQueen, James Garner, James Coburn, you know, huge
So
cast.
we're getting a lot of comments about Band of Brothers, Masters of the Air. Those are not movies, though, right?
No, but we can talk about series.
Series is? Okay.
Also, hoist the jack. No, I'm not a jackrabbit. This happens every
'cause
time I mention
you
you.
said
What?
South Dakota, but you're
What
not a
is the
jackrabbit.
mascot? What is the mascot? Is it actual mascot a jackrabbit?
No, so USD, we're the Coyotes. I'm actually repping some school gear right now.
Hold on a second. Let me hold that up again. All right. Okay, there you go. All right.
But the Jackrabbits are SDSU. I know it's pedantic, but SDSU is our rival school, and I had a professor from college that used to call SDSU the Great Cow College of the North because they're the ag school of the state.
Nice.
Got it.
So I need to clarify that.
Comments. I'm seeing one that I regret not mentioning. Das Boot.
Oh my God!
They
Yes.
just brought up the Sand Pebbles. Oh my God, that's great.
Oh, Sand Pebbles was huge. But
Yeah.
I
okay,
Mr.
never heard
Roberts.
that one.
hold on a second. Let's talk about Das Boot because I had that in here as there's another trope. You know, I was reading this article and it's oh yeah. Okay, wait. Number 7. Hold on a second. I got to pull this up. And
He's got them numbered this time.
what? I always have them numbered.
Sure.
Mhm.
So, all right. So there's the cliche, they go off to war and, the glory of war and everything. And then they get in the middle of war and they realize it kind of sucks.
This sucks.
And that's one thing that I thought Das Boot was great at, was showing the boredom of a
I
submarine.
like the vitamin
patrol.
C there.
What's that?
I like the vitamin C.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
think
the
it's
lemons.
the like this isn't
that's
cool
right.
trope. I think it's a very accurate one, because if you think about every armed conflict in history, there's always a swelling of like national pride, like I'm going to go have this great adventure. Like it's I think it's something that's very prevalent. Like if you read like letters from like especially Civil War veterans, like everybody's like, I can't miss out on this,
Mhm.
So like even though it is a trope, it very much rings true.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm actually reading Gone with the Wind right now, which is a huge book. But that was a big, the eagerness to fight for your country, or it's high among young people. But once they're exposed to the harsh realities of the battlefield, that excitement, inevitably 9 times out of 10 is replaced by regret. It's like, oh, this guy.
I just think of the most recent version of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Totally.
The
All the
German-
versions.
Yeah, all the versions. But I saw the most recent version, most recent, so that's what's coming to mind for me.
Yeah.
Gettysburg was great.
Gettysburg is good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Gettysburg.
Johnny Got His Gun. Anyone see Johnny Got His Gun? You want to talk about an anti-war movie, which is phenomenal.
I haven't seen that one.
No, I haven't seen that.
Great
either.
book, great movie. I have not finished Born on the 4th of July yet, but do we consider that? I haven't finished the book, but I haven't seen the movie either, but I want to finish the book. Talk about, true life experiences of what people what people went through. Just like Johnny Got His Gun. Johnny Got His Gun is right up there with All Quiet on the Western Front, I think, for me, with anti-war. Which is an important genre to me. And, the people who live it, that go through it and then write about their experience in a fictional sort of way.
You're talking about the Civil War? Wait.
No, Johnny Got His Gun.
What?
Not Johnny Get Your Gun. That's a song, I think, right?
Oh,
Johnny Got His Gun is an anti-World War I anti-war.
Oh, World War One. Okay.
Yeah. Meaning he doesn't get his gun, he got his gun.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Tim?
Lawrence of Arabia.
Oh,
Fantastic.
I've never
It's a
seen it.
marathon, but it's fantastic.
That's a long movie.
Well, okay, so John, for Armchair Commanders, remind me, was it Gettysburg or Glory that
Ooh,
you did? Rob from Rocky Mountain Life Prospecting mentioned Glory, which was a fantastic movie. Matthew Broderick.
We've done both, and
You have? Okay.
Glory and Gettysburg. So our top 5 listen to, between downloads and YouTube. Number 1 is Down Periscope. 2 and 3, I can't remember in which order, but it's Glory and Gettysburg. Our 4th place one is Bridge Too Far, and then our 5th one is our episode with you, Ken, which is U571.
What? I made it into the top 5?
You did make it into the top 5. You have
He's
a lot
never
of,
heard that before in his life.
Yeah, no kidding,
Thank you for
right?
hearing that, John.
Yeah.
but yeah,
I only held the honor because it was the longest episode.
no, you're one of our top downloads. Glory is obviously a phenomenal film. We reviewed that with Jared from Real History, who is another YouTube channel that focuses on reviewing. He's a little more broader. He does any kind of historical film. But he's a great guy. Check out his channel. And then we did Gettysburg with John, another individual named John. His channel is called The Tattooed Historian. He does a lot of great stuff as well. Gettysburg is the first film that I had to do a public apology for.
What?
Yeah, so Gettysburg was one of our earliest episodes that we did. It was like first 10 or something. and I was, just getting started into rating and reviewing films, and I was feeling high and mighty on myself. So I was like, "This movie is garbage." Like it's a great movie to watch, but I was like, it's boring and long, and all this stuff, and I gave it like a half a point or like a 1 rate, something like that. And then we got further along in our little experience of reviewing war movies, and I'm like, oh, there are infinitely worse films than this. So probably like 60 episodes in, when we had him back to review the movie Waterloo, I issued an apology. I'm like, sorry, Gettysburg is not that bad. Like, I am now upping my rating of it.
Yeah.
Jolie here makes an
Really?
interesting comment.
Yeah.
How interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is very cool.
I guess we all need autographs now, Jolie.
Yeah. Actually, you brought it up, but who here has actually seen? I know you just said it, John, but who else is here has seen Waterloo?
I have not.
1970. That movie.
Flips of it.
Yeah, that movie is another one of my favorites, and I love it purely for, well, just how much work went into it. Like 15,000 extras.
Oh yeah, it's it's truly impressive what they would accomplish pre-CGI days.
Yeah, it's like there is legitimately a cavalry charge where you see like 10,000 guys in a squares, like defending themselves, and like they're filming from a helicopter like at 500 feet, so that you can get the whole shot. It's insane.
I love
Did they crash a plane in Dunkirk?
Did they crash a plane?
It was a replica of the fighter when it goes down in the English Channel. I think that was a real plane.
I think I think they sank a like 1/3 scale plane in the Channel. It wasn't a real one, thankfully.
And the one he sets fire to is obviously not real.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Personally, that's one of the issues from pre-CGI days is how many pieces of history were destroyed for the sake of filmmaking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so that leads me to a question. Can you have a good war movie these days with CGI versus assembling all of the real tanks, all of the the reenactors, like Jolie had mentioned, for supporting cast, can you still do a movie these days with CGI, a good movie?
Yeah,
what's the latest one?
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
Granted, it's a miniseries, but I think case in point is Masters of the Air.
Yeah,
really demonstrates how far along CGI has come.
Yeah, they didn't use any real B-17s, I don't think.
I was very impressed. They created a 1:1 scale replica for their ground scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, so that wasn't even a real plane on the ground that they were using. They recreated a 1-to-1.
Yeah, they did. They just like copied blueprints and built one.
Mm-hmm. But I agree with Matt here. Band of Brothers sets the bar so high. It's hard for Masters of the Air or the Pacific
Well,
they make you get invested in the characters. Like you actually feel sad, like you lost a friend.
I'll agree with that, because when I watched Dunkirk, I walked away from it just 100% dissatisfied, because other than the kid that dies, spoiler alert, I couldn't tell you a single name from a single character, and I didn't have any emotional investment in any of them.
I think that's another great trope. I don't know if we've brought it up yet, but you mentioned the one kid who dies in Dunkirk. But something that comes up, and especially in submarine films, is the sacrificial lamb, where it's like, oh, we need to send you into bilge to close off this valve, or else we're all going to die.
Yeah, they had to send Rabbit down into the water or the bilge to
Jackrabbit. Oh yeah, right.
No, Rabbit. Rabbit died.
John would sacrifice a jackrabbit, I'm sure.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
How about, well, here, so so everyone's, geez, I mean, we've had a ton of submissions in the comments here.
Yeah, it's not stop.
Yeah, Connor.
It's a popular topic.
It is.
Connor's going to do his best. Pull one out.
Movie.
Yeah, like there's Top Gun. I mean, that's fiction, but
Oh, hold on a
it's
second.
a
That's an
war film.
interesting point. So
It's just so much fun. I love that.
yeah, I mean, okay, so that brings up another
guess it means,
trope I remember. Hold on a second. Let's see, number 13, which is
You're a rebel.
huh?
The stereotype, like the rebel character, and they get
Well,
kicked
Yeah.
off the
You're
thing
loose
and they
cannon.
save the day.
there's always got to be the ace pilot.
ace pilot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, is that not real though? I mean,
Well,
I
it
don't know.
is. Yeah. No, Shane makes a good point. It is real. I mean, why else would they be making a movie about the person? In this particular case, I think this is the movie Red Tails about the Tuskegee Airmen.
I think
It's
so.
actually just called Tuskegee Airmen. It was done by HBO. We did it 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh.
No, I think this picture came from what the heck did this come
Is
from?
that
I
Lawrence
thought,
Fishburne?
yeah, I
It
thought
is.
Lawrence Fishburne was in Red Tails.
He was actually, if I remember correctly, I think he was in both Tuskegee Airmen and Red Tails. I
Okay.
think he just like changed roles between films.
Got
I
it.
might be wrong about that. But
Okay.
I know that there is a actor that was in both.
Oh, that's always weird.
Got it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, when you get like the same actor in different films. Yeah, that I've
Or like when they made the prequels to Exorcist, and there were 2 separate movies, but they came out at the same time, and everyone's like, "Which one's which?" I don't know. It's
wait,
not
there's
one movie. I
there's a
understand.
sequel or not a sequel.
Yes.
A prequel. A prequel.
Speaking of
And there were 2 of them made at the same
Top Gun.
time, different people, or maybe I don't know. I can't
Speaking
remember.
about the comment about Top Gun from earlier, Top Gun is one of the few examples that I think that the sequel actually turned out better than the original.
I agree.
I can't argue with that. If it's not better, it's just as good.
Like when I
I
initially heard they were doing Top Gun 2, I was like, oh, this is just a cash grab.
Yeah.
But then like actually going and seeing it in theaters, I was like, this is a solid film.
Yeah.
yeah,
only-
I would agree with that.
The only problem I have with the new Top Gun is I still can't figure out what the hell it was they were playing on the beach with 2 footballs. I
Team
did
building
not,
exercise.
I did not understand that at all, So I have to give then the volleyball scene in the original Top Gun that actually wins.
Iron Eagle was better than Top Gun.
What?
There's
Hold
some
on.
controversial. There's a
Shots
controversial
fired.
things in this.
Happy.
No.
Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge. That's a
Someone
good one.
mentioned. Someone mentioned earlier. Sorry, I can't remember who, but the Final Countdown.
Yeah.
Yes.
That movie is
Yeah.
fabulous. That
God.
movie is a fat. Oh, come on, John.
I remember. Yeah, that
Convince me
was
otherwise.
towards the beginning of the stream. Someone did mention
Yeah,
Final
hold on.
Countdown, and I
Fabulous.
saw
love
that.
movie.
That was Martin Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Martin Sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we
It's
just
got-
take a second to talk about the absolute absurdity of the physics required for an F-14 to fight a zero?
No, they boom and zoomed it. Don't you know? Like that's totally what they did.
God.
Yeah, okay, that might be it. You'd have to really slow down, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't even know. You'd probably
I
stall.
think I remember seeing something that like when they were filming that movie that because they used actual F-14s because
Mhm.
the military is very great about lending material when it comes to producing war films because obviously war films are great recruitment tools. But I remember reading something that like they had a serious issue of almost stalling out these fighter planes trying to film this movie.
Mhm.
I've heard the same thing.
Because they were the zeros were played by we call them Harvards, but Texans, right? T6s.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because like those were used as
T6s.
zeros in so many.
Pseudo zeros.
Yeah, we call them Harvards here, so I gotta keep remembering the name.
Okay.
Oh, here's a good comment from Barry. Okay, interesting.
Okay, that's what we're
Oh.
probably thinking of.
Cuba
Yeah.
Gooding Jr. was in both. Okay, got it.
Well, he's got a trifecta then because he was in Men of Honor.
Yes.
Oh, the diving movie.
Yeah.
Yes. Carl
That
Bashir.
is so. I wanted to bring that up. Obviously, Museum Ship Mafia, and we've kind of been doing like a general discussion of war films. Obviously,
Yeah, we kind of got distracted.
yeah, obviously we were I was expecting it to be more naval themed, but I was going to bring up the fact that my favorite naval war film has very little to do with actual naval combat. And that is because one of my favorite naval films is Men of Honor.
Okay.
Really? I didn't think it was that good.
What?
And I'm a huge
Each their own.
I'm a huge fan of Robert De Niro,
I very much enjoy the story. I agree that it's kind of a typical early 2000s film, but I don't know. It hits me in the right places.
Yeah. Well, it's been years since I've seen it, so maybe I need to give it another chance.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in years.
Yep, you had a face going there for a second. How do you feel about Men of Honor?
Who, me?
No, Ep. John.
Oh, John.
It's a great movie.
I thought your reaction I saw your reaction to Ken's statement. I'm like, oh, John has strong feelings about this.
Spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it, but when he loses his leg, like, I know that's coming, but it always shocks me every time it happens.
Well, the one thing you can say is that it's based on a true story.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. I forget that. Unfortunately, I forget the name of the diver. But
Carl Bashir.
Carl Bashir?
Yep.
Okay. And yeah, so I do love when a studio will invest the money to try and tell a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And of course try, and John and his partner on the podcast, Jack, constantly will make comments about, well, Connor said try. Studio pumped a ton of money into Pearl Harbor and failed miserably.
I don't know. Did they? What are the stats on Pearl Harbor? Like, right? They always do budget versus ticket sales. Like, did it make money for the?
I think it
Well,
did.
it was a really popular film.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
very popular.
So from that standpoint, it did very well for the studio. But you're talking about, so okay, I remember reading, and when I was on the podcast, and again, we're talking to John from Armchair Commanders. If you guys aren't familiar, it's a podcast where John and Jack will have a guest on and they'll review World War II movies. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. They're drinking while. So the one thing I will say about Armchair Commanders,
movies, but
what's that?
Said all war movies.
Yeah,
Some movies that might not even be about war, but we'll count it anyways.
Well, and they're drinking while they're doing it. So the podcast might start off a little slow. They get into it, but once they dive in, it's hilarious. I really, really enjoy what they do. But one movie that they bring up constantly throughout their episodes is Pearl Harbor. And yes, Pearl Harbor was a success for the studio. But the thing that I remember reading was before it went out to the public, they did a pre-screening for veterans, and they had some veterans from the Doolittle raid, which when they saw that how they handled the Doolittle raid, those veterans just walked out. And so yeah, it's great when a studio, and the movie that I was talking about was U-571, which is not a historically accurate movie if you look at it from the perspective of the U.S. didn't really have much to do with really capturing the Enigma until you got to U-505. But but I love the fact that they invested money. They made what I thought was a good movie with Matthew McConaughey to bring people into the theaters to see a World War II movie. And I thought that's what Pearl Harbor also did well. It's like they brought a ton of people into the theaters to have them learn about World War II, even though it was not accurate.
And you can actually look back at film history and tell Pearl Harbor came about, I believe, as a direct result of Titanic, because Titanic really wasn't about Titanic. Titanic was about Leo and Kate and that love story. And then you look just 2-3 years later, here comes Pearl Harbor, and you've got the three-way love story, love triangle
three-way.
between the guys and Kate Beckinsale. And Pearl Harbor was just a backdrop.
I can't
Yeah.
wait till they add an Ocean Gate like after credits scene to the director's cut to Titanic.
Wait, what? I totally missed
That
that.
might have been in poor taste, but
Oh,
Someone actually, I'm looking for it now, but someone wrote that in the comment. I'm trying to scroll up rather quickly. But
Yeah.
someone said,
Okay.
Pearl Harbor would have never been done if Titanic wasn't done prior to it.
Yeah.
I forgot I'm not.
So-
on my- gotta reel it in a little bit.
Well, and here's the thing about Pearl Harbor. Barry nails it. Fighter pilots selected to fly B-25s on a special mission.
Yeah,
Please.
There you go.
and that
Those
that does
B-25
lead,
pilots that got trained up. Like,
yeah. Well, that actually leads to another trope where the main character of whatever war movie or story we have is chosen to become part of a team, and he magically, within the time span of the film, becomes as competent as the people who have been implied to have done this for however
Years.
long.
Yeah.
So that actually is another trope right there.
Battleship.
Yeah.
Screw up brother replaces the rock star brother.
Yeah, and destroyer crews are somehow able to operate a battleship. I know there were the veterans there, but bulk of those guys would have still been the destroyer crew.
I guess it's I guess it's like, what is the movie trying to accomplish? Is it trying to accomplish patriotism? Is it trying to accomplish, influencing kids to consider joining the Navy? It's like, what's the point? Just straight entertainment? I don't know.
I thought we had a great discussion about that when you were on to discuss Fighting Sullivans, where, our joke about that movie is that it's just like it's almost a joke in the fact that it's essentially like a Little Rascals episode for an hour and a half, and it becomes a war movie. But the thing that we discussed about on that was the fact that that movie was meant for a wartime audience, and it was meant to remind people who are at home like what it was like when their loved ones were still at home and not away at war. So the goal of the movie was to be an escape, not necessarily to be, Michael Bay's, explosion spectacular.
I remember when I was listening to that podcast episode, Shane's, second episode appearing on Armchair Commanders, you guys were talking about how, it wasn't, the first half of the movie didn't really, it was more of a recruitment movie in many ways.
Yeah.
And there's another movie, I don't know if any of you have seen it. It's called Battle of the North Atlantic, or Battle in the North Atlantic. It's a Humphrey Bogart movie.
Oh.
And it's about it, and it was done it was filmed during World War II, and it was about the hell they call that served on the Liberty ships.
Merchant Marine.
Merchant Marine. Thank you, Connor. And so when you're watching the movie, and it was a great story. For those of you that have never seen it before, it's about a Liberty ship that gets separated from the convoy.
Ooh.
Yeah, they get separated from the convoy, and a U-boat is tailing them, but the U-boat stays out of range of the deck gun that's installed on the Liberty ship. So Humphrey Bogart is the executive officer, if I'm not mistaken, and they have to really strategize how they're going to get away from this U-boat. But at the same time, there's all kinds of I don't know if tongue in cheek is the right word, but I mean, it's really about recruitment. They're trying to get people to sign on, Merchant Marines, get involved in the Merchant Marines or volunteer for the Merchant Marines. And it's over the top. But to John's point, it was created for a wartime audience, I think. So yeah, if you get a chance to check out Battle of the North Atlantic, I think you're going to like it, but at the same time, just filter out or take it with a grain of salt. It was filmed during another time.
Oh yeah, and that's something you always got to remember with a lot of these films too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, John Epp reminded me have you, other John, Armchair John, have you ever seen the movie Corvette K225?
I have not seen it, but I hope you'll be proud enough of me to know that it is on our list that we pull from. So
Okay.
give me like
Yeah.
quarter credit there.
Okay. Yeah, because John reminded me, I haven't seen it since I was like 10. But yeah, it's a Canadian film filmed during World War II. And yeah, they filmed it all on HMCS Kitchener, I believe. They call it something else in the movie, but it was filmed on one of the flowers. And yeah, basically it's all trying to get people, to sign up for the Navy, that type of stuff. And there are other things too. But yeah. No, I'd completely forgotten about that movie. So thank you, John, for reminding me.
Oh, I got a good comment here that I think we need to discuss.
Which one?
Lego History Sam. He just says John Wayne war movies.
Ugh.
Well, no, I can think of two: The Longest Day and In Harm's Way.
He's got a lot of them.
Yeah.
We've done a few. He did a wartime picture about the Flying Tigers.
Yeah.
That's right.
Sands of Iwo Jima.
Mhm.
I made a post on our Instagram page not too long ago about how I just inherited my grandfather's VHS copy of Sands of Iwo Jima. So now I have it on a shelf in the other room as a nice little display piece. Fun fact, Sands of Iwo Jima has a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Mhm.
I'm gonna go ruin that.
Yeah, but then again, didn't Rotten Tomatoes give the Fighting Sullivans 100%?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes will definitely surprise you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I think John Wayne is his own trope. Like,
Yeah.
That's true.
he is a guilty pleasure of mine. I grew part of my love of film and history developed from watching John Wayne films with my grandfather.
Oh,
So, like,
interesting.
even if John Wayne films aren't technically the greatest, they just hit me in the nostalgia piece a lot. But there's also quite a few films that he's in that are legitimately good films, despite the fact John Wayne is being John Wayne in it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another good one. A couple people made comments about Cold War movies, and I love movies that are based on true stories. Hunt for Red October. That's a true story. Loved it. I mean, that's at the tail end of Cold War.
I love when people try to do Russian accents.
Yeah.
With British actors.
Right.
With British actor, Scottish actor.
It's almost as good as Liam Neeson trying to do a Russian accent in K-19.
I don't remember.
There's one in there. I've got to do a shout out to Hoist to Jack.
What do you got?
Wolverines. I love.
Did he put Red Dawn?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Red
Hold on a
Dawn.
second.
We
What was
actually
that?
we recorded that this last week. It'll be out in a couple weeks from now.
You did Red
Y'all
Dawn?
did it?
Yep, we did the original
Oh.
Red Dawn. It'll be an upcoming episode for us.
Well,
Right.
let's we've had you on for an hour, and I appreciate you digging into it. We didn't really have a time limit, but since you talking about what you've recorded, again, we're talking to John from let me pull it up again. John from the Armchair Commanders podcast. What do you have coming up? Kind of promote what you got coming up that we can look forward to.
Yeah, thanks. So something to be noted is, although we do put stuff onto YouTube, we're pretty much a very audio focused podcast. We haven't really made the leap to live streaming or recorded podcasts, despite the fact that would probably boost our viewership, but we're still very much just audio. Coming up, we have a sci-fi film called District 9 that we'll be doing, which is a very clever play on apartheid. Even it's not
Do you
clever at
believe
all.
there should be a sequel to that? I hear that a lot online.
I mean, sure, why not? Yes, the movie sets up for a sequel, but also I talk about the fact I was not a fan of District 9, and I was like, I think it would be funny if you know, the alien's like, I will be back in 3 years, and then he never comes back because he's like, screw you.
Who directed that one?
Oh,
Is that Jackson?
Jackson was a producer, but not the director.
Okay.
So we have that. We are doing, like I said, we did Red Dawn. That will be coming out soon. We will be recording with Ken here in the near future to do The Great Escape.
Yep.
We'll
Looking
also
forward to it.
be recording the sequel to Braveheart, which I don't know if you knew there was a sequel to Braveheart, but there is one.
I didn't know that.
It's called Robert the Bruce, and it has Angus McFadden reprising his role. So we'll be recording that here in the near future. And then we're still working a few things out, but there's a Netflix original that's coming out in December that we're hoping to knock out pretty quickly about a wax unit from World War II, or WASP unit.
Wasp.
Yeah. Wave
Really?
WASP. Yep. I think it's, let me look it up.
So the WASP, that was
Women Auxiliary Service Pilots.
that transported and ferried a lot of the planes over Greenland, right?
So Netflix is coming out with a movie in December. It's called The 6888, which is about the WACS, or the
Got it.
Women's Army Corps.
Okay.
So we're looking at doing that, and then obviously with Gladiator 2 just coming out, we're trying to line something up for that as well. So we always have a ton of stuff planned. We have, I think, 70 some episodes out right now, or 70 plus, because we also do a thing called bonus reels, which are kind of extra things that are a little outside of our parameters, but we still think are worth discussing. But we have episodes every week, so by all means, we'd love to have people come join us, and we're always looking for suggestions. So if anybody wants to hear a particular episode, you can just send me a DM through Instagram, and I'll bump it up on the list, because I like appeasing people who actually listen to the show.
So Connor, John Up from the USS Slater, what if you're lucky enough to get an invitation from John of from Armchair Commanders, what movies would you guys do?
Well, I already mentioned it,
What?
but I would probably do the one I mentioned, Corvette K225, because everyone else, my other choices have already been done. So that might be an interesting one. And again, from a Canadian perspective, I always find that interesting.
What about you, Ep?
So Slater was technically in 3 movies, so maybe one of those.
Someone mentioned earlier, there was a comment.
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, about a movie that was filmed aboard the Slater.
Oh, Below Orion or something like that, was
Yeah.
it?
So, so the Slater's, we assume it's the Slater at the end of Guns of Navarone. There's a line of ships. And,
Yeah, they're all like firing off their sirens. They're all happy.
Yeah.
That
and you can't really see them because it's like dusk, so it's just like black ships. But apparently, it's a Slater when she was in the Greek Navy.
really. So
there
those
was a
were
Greek
real
movie
ships. They weren't models.
Correct. Yeah.
I did not know. That.
Alice in the Navy is the English translated title, but it's a Greek comedy filmed aboard the ship when the ship was in the Greek Navy. And then, Last Operations on the Orion. That was a Japanese movie. They did a lot of filming in 2008 aboard the ship. Rizzuto said if they ever wanted to come do another movie, he would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
They were so just a great group to work with, I guess.
The Japanese filmmakers.
Yep.
Is there
They left the ship cleaner than when they arrived.
You gotta love that.
That's funny.
Is there an English translation of that film?
I don't believe so. I think there's subtitles, but it was only released in Japan. Rizzuto has a copy. You can find copies.
Mm-hmm.
There is a movie. Oh, what was it called? There is a Godzilla knockoff movie.
Just came
I
out,
think-
right?
No, it was like from 2000. I think it was like in 2005, but it only released online or on streaming like 2019, which is supposed to be Yamato, the battleship, fighting a Godzilla type monster, but they film on Mikasa. And that's a film that I saw probably about a year ago. And that just came to mind now when I'm thinking about museum ships that appeared in films. To my knowledge, Henry has never appeared in a movie that released. Henry allegedly appears in a movie about the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which never came out because they tried to film it like right after. I think it was like a year after the sinking. And supposedly the story I heard was that Duluth, the city of Duluth, refused to, which was the port the Edmund Fitzgerald left before she sank, refused to take part. So Thunder Bay, my city, played the role of the Fitz, or of Duluth, and apparently there's a shot of the Fitzgerald, which they grabbed another Laker and named it Fitzgerald and had sail up the Cam River. Apparently there was a shot with Henry in it, but I have not seen that movie. But I've been told by people that scenes were filmed around and even on the Henry at one point.
John, before we let you go, there were a couple of comments here, or actually there was one.
There's a lot of comments.
Well, yeah, but it kind of made me think of something. Okay, so Lego History Sam, he's a regular viewer of ours. You know, another good comment here. Movies like MASH or Kelly's Heroes. Have you seen either one?
Absolutely. My wife is very annoyed by the fact that MASH is my, like, I will put that on in the background whenever I'm cleaning the house. So she has seen every episode about a dozen times so far against her will.
So you're talking about the TV show, but what about the movie with Elliot Gould and Donald Sutherland?
I did enjoy the movie MASH. I don't watch that as frequently. I would say that's like I have two different categories of films, or three categories of films, which is films I will watch once and never watch again. There are films I will watch if it's on TV, and then there are films that I go out of my way to watch at least once a year. So MASH, the movie, is the kind of film that, like, if it's on TV or if it's been a super long time, then I'll throw it on.
And what about Kelly's Heroes?
That series was also a guilty pleasure of mine. I am also probably one of my top 5 war films is the film that inspired the series Kelly's Heroes.
No, not the actual movie. There's a series called Kelly's Heroes.
There's a series.
I'm talking about the movie with.
I was thinking Hogan's Heroes. My bad.
Hogan's Heroes.
I had a wire cross in my head. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I do very much love Kelly or like Kelly's Heroes.
People do that.
That is more like my dad's era of films, so I was subjected to a lot of that as a kid as well.
So, Connor, John, Shane, Tim, thumbs up or thumbs down for Kelly's Heroes?
I never saw it.
You never saw Kelly's Heroes?
No, dude. No, I have never seen. I don't even know what it is. I have no idea what it is.
There's this actor. He was kind of up and coming. He didn't really do much. Called Clint Eastwood.
Never heard.
And Telly Savalas.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
Carol O'Connor played the amazing general.
Was Robert Redford in that also, or no?
For Kelly's Heroes, no.
Okay.
Don Rickles.
Don Rickles. That's right.
Don Rickles is his own trope in movie making.
Yes.
Love Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was terrible in the submarine movie Silent Service?
Run Silent, Run Deep.
That's it. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, careful.
Tim got it.
Careful.
We discussed that. We discussed that film too. With
It's a great book.
Individual named Greg. He's from the Independence Seaport Museum, which is home of the USS Olympia.
And
right.
And we agreed that like Run Silent, Run Deep is very much as a 1940s film as you can get. But if you think about it, Run Silent, Run Deep basically created the submarine movie genre. Like most of the tropes we get in submarine movies come from that film. So like you can be mad about it being a trope salad, but it created it.
Mhm.
So that was
Best
written
thing
by
about Run Deep is the Japanese destroyer.
Say that again.
Best thing about Run Silent, Run Deep is the Japanese destroyer
Why do you say that?
because it was Kid.
It was.
Yeah, yeah.
I did not know that.
They have scenes of the Japanese destroyer where it's obviously a model,
I didn't
but
know that
the
either.
scenes where you see the guns pivoting and the scenes on the bridge with the Japanese crew, that's Kid.
No kidding.
Filmed
Wow.
in 1957 out of San Diego.
And
Wow.
Hoisted
Oh,
Jack,
that's cool.
I would like to acknowledge you. You are correct, but my statement still stands. It's 40s and 50s have the time period of filmmaking from that is very specific, and it matches that.
Well, that was written by Edward Beach, who was a commander, right, or even a captain. And he was a captain, a commander in the submarine force during World War II. So I bet you he pulled some stuff from, and then he just became he wrote the book Submarine, right? Exclamation point, right? Where he talked in nonfiction about different submarines and their service during World War II, which is both of those. And then he just became like an author after that. But it's very good. The book is very good. I think I saw the movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
You know, one we haven't mentioned, The Dirty Dozen.
Oh,
No
Oh
idea.
yeah.
Never seen
great movie.
it. Never saw it.
Oh,
John's. That's a great movie. Tim, thumbs up or thumbs down?
On
Dirty
Which
Dozen.
Oh, the Dirty Dozen? Oh, please.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up and a pinky.
Yeah. Hey, John from Armchair Commanders, when you had Tim on, did you have any clue that he had lost fingers working on a museum ship?
I didn't know what the story was, but I figured that was kind of a non-important issue given our topic of the day.
Oh no, it's
Ooh, I
very
like how you
important.
I
It's
just,
very
I just took
important.
it at face value that not to mention my co-host is also is missing appendages, so I'm used to it.
Jack
Yeah.
is?
Mm.
What's he missing?
Oh my
Listen,
God.
He had some piggies go to market.
Really?
Yes,
Wow, when I come on, I'm gonna have to ask him about that. Huh.
Jesus.
it's
What?
hilarious because he has a tattoo and it's like a wooden sign on a post that says "Gone to Market" over his nut.
You know what? I think you guys talked about that when I was on briefly, because that does sound familiar.
So are these toes? Are these toes?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only on one foot, but he is missing digits.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Sorry, but just bringing up the idea of museum ships that appear in film. What about the Battle of the River Plate, which featured Salem as Grasp Bay?
I do not know
never
that
seen
movie.
it.
Familiar
No
with it.
idea.
Okay, it's a British film, and it's about the sinking of the Grasp Bay, and Grasp Bay is played by the USS Salem.
Mhm.
And someone I talked to always complained because it's some of the best footage of Salem, and she's playing a German ship.
Oh wow, funny.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a heavy cruiser, post-war heavy cruiser. I think
Well-
she actually is the last heavy cruiser now.
I think it's clear by all the comments that we've had on here that this is a subject that people love.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's so I can't thank everybody enough for throwing in your 2 cents worth. If we didn't get to your comment, I apologize. But yeah, you guys hit us with some great movies, some great comments on the movies we were talking about. And like I always say, we can't do this without subscribers and viewers. So thanks for throwing in with us. And I want to say thanks to John from the Armchair Commanders podcast. Let me throw that up one minute,
Thank
one more
you so much
time.
for having me.
Yeah. Well, I've always had a lot of fun. I shouldn't say always. I've only been on your podcast once, but listening to, like, whenever, you've had Shane on twice, when you had Tim on, listening to your other episodes, I think it's great. So if any of the viewers are interested in conversations like what we had tonight, that's exactly what you're going to get when you tune into the Armchair Commanders podcast. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, whatever your favorite platform is to listen to podcasts. Check out the Armchair Commanders. Like John said, they're also on YouTube, but they're primarily an audio only podcast, but you can find them on YouTube. So check it out. And if you do look for them on YouTube, simply just put Armchair Commanders in the search bar and it'll come up. Look for this logo that we've got on the screen right here. But before we kick you off, John, and talk behind your back, any last words?
Thank you again so much for having me on. It's always a great time talking war films, and it's always great chatting with you guys, Connor, other John. You ever want to come on and have a film you want to talk about, love to have you guys on. And to the folks at home listening, like Ken said, just type in Armchair Commanders on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast from. We'd love to have you guys as listeners. And like I said, we're very receptive to people who listen to our show. So if you send us a DM, I am very likely to bump something up on the list for us to watch. So
DM on Instagram.
Yep. Instagram is the best place. We have a Facebook page also that you can reach out through Messenger there. But we love hearing from people who listen to the show about, whether they agree or disagree with our views on particular films. And we are always looking for new suggestions. We are always looking for people to be recommended to be a guest on our show. Because like I said, the history community is better and stronger when we all work together. So,
definitely. Let's see. Well, like I said, I thank you for coming on tonight. It's been a lot of fun. Something tells me we're gonna have to do it again. Yeah,
you name the time.
And I'm looking forward to coming on in a couple of weeks to talk about The Great Escape, or actually in about a week and a half, I guess, to talk about The Great Escape, one of my all-time favorite movies. And here's something cool about John. When, at least it's been my experience, and I know, Shane and Tim will let me know behind the scenes when they're going to be on. Armchair Commanders isn't live, it's pre-recorded, but John turns the episodes around super quick. So
I try to.
Yeah. Well, at least that's what I've seen. So yeah, man, thanks for joining us tonight. It's been great. And look forward to joining you and Jack to talk about the Great Escape.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
What? Yeah, motorcycles.
Steve McQueen, where's your figure?
You know what? So
he's got it behind there somewhere.
Yeah, no, it got replaced by my YouTube silver plaque when I hit 100,000 subscribers. So I had to get rid of my Steve McQueen motorcycle. But you know what? Oh yeah. Oh, it is. It's way in the back now. You probably can't see it.
But I see it.
Yeah. So Steve McQueen motorcycle. As I'm turning away from the microphone and speaking, which is terribly unprofessional, but yeah. So there's my tribute to Great Escape. Good memory. All right, man. We're kicking you off. Whoops.
You're already
I did. Yeah, I'm really anxious to get rid of this guy. Oh man,
thank you, John. I appreciate it. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Being here.
Yeah, and take track down Connor and John Epp at the Slater. John, you would do an episode with these guys, right?
Maybe.
That's me putting you on the spot.
I'm not a talkative person, as you all know. So
really.
Yeah, but you're passionate about the subject. I'm sure you'd pick a good movie.
There's no movies about destroyer escorts, though.
What if I told you there's booze involved?
I don't really drink anymore.
Yeah, he's dry.
John with the
excuses. He's boring.
Yeah, John with the excuses. Well, you'll get him on. And if you haven't noticed, Connor can't shut up. He'll talk about anything. So
I will.
Yeah, and so it sounds to me like you got to get a VCR to watch the movie Connor wants to pull up.
There's got to be a version of it out somewhere.
Probably 6 months ago, I had to buy a VCR for one of our films, so I'm ready.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
like, you'll go all the way to watch a movie.
That's just one idea. There's plenty.
Because I care about our listeners. I went to 4 different Goodwills to track one down. So
Oh, you had to go to a Goodwill. Hey, you know what? That's a good idea. I was just going to ask, where do you get a VCR? But yeah, Goodwill. That makes sense. Oh,
Does
all right,
anyone
man.
still make VCRs anymore?
I doubt it.
I bet you there's like one brand that does.
No.
Just like record players now. There's like, they're bringing them
VHS,
back, but
Blu-ray combo.
Yeah, and it's probably like a specialty VCR, which is like made for museums.
Oh, you mean to play the tour thing?
Yes, exactly. Like, because there's like
Do some
special
research on
machinery
that,
that can like
Connor.
play old media.
My
And,
next
like,
my next item that I have on my Christmas list is I want to get a beta player.
oh, the
I
better
I have never
technology.
seen one of those.
No, I
better
grew up with one of those.
technology. Yeah, they're much
That or a
better.
laser disc.
If you're looking for oddities, get the Divx thing.
The what?
Divx. It was a competitor with DVDs initially.
Never heard of it.
Never
But
heard of that.
what's ironic about it is it was a service, much like streaming is now. So Divx got its revenge through streaming, which killed off Blu-ray and DVD.
Oh, interesting.
Titanic single-handedly killed Divx because of all the little tween girls going on and playing it 300 times, and you paid for every play. And so all the parents get the bills and go, "Oh my God!"
So before I get rid of you, John, between me, Tim, and Shane, who was your favorite guest?
No comment.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on,
Come
do it.
Yeah, do it.
come on.
No, you have to. You have
None of
to.
us take it personally.
There we go.
No. Who was your favorite?
My favorite. Don't do this to me.
Come on. You can do it.
I don't think there's a favorite individual. I will say that I enjoyed discussing certain films more than others.
Oh,
Oh, really? That's interesting.
well,
'Cause I think you all are great guys and you have great point of views and bring different things to the table. U571 is our longest episode because we spent a long time tearing it apart,
Mhm.
but it was fun tearing it apart. Discussing Greyhound was amazing because, of the connection that Tim and the kid had to the movie. Also, Greyhound, I thought was a good movie. Shane had an interesting pick in the Bedford incident.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
So as far as favorite, it genuinely, I can't pick one because they're different and they each had their own quirks to it. But if we're just going based on discussion, the fact, Ken, that your episode was almost 3 hours long,
oh my
I guess
God.
we can pick your episode.
Oh my God.
I didn't overstay my welcome. I'm sure Jack was dying to get off. But I had a great
You
time.
met Jack. I
I'm
didn't even
surprised.
get to meet Jack.
I'm surprised I made it through that episode considering my drink choice that day.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. Here's another thing. So John invested in a VHS player to cover one of the movies. John also drank, while we were talking about U571, he drank a mixture of Everclear and grapefruit juice.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Orange juice, but
It was orange juice.
I was trying to do an homage to torpedo juice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. For the viewers that aren't familiar, it wasn't during World War II, but the
Yeah,
torpedoes
Oh yeah.
World War I and World War II.
what ran off of the
Teenager
alcohol?
Yep.
Oh, I thought that was later.
No.
Well,
World War
so
II
Was it an initiation thing too?
World War II is when they started to diet.
oh, okay. So the sailors would take it was denatured alcohol, I believe, and mix it with grapefruit juice, and they called it torpedo juice. And John went the extra mile to find Everclear. I think it was that morning you had to hunt down Everclear. And
Yeah, you definitely give the appearance of a seasoned alcoholic when you're buying Everclear from a liquor store at 8 a.m.
yeah. So check out the Armchair Commanders podcast, because that's the kind of effort that John puts into every episode. And you'll love it. So again, man, thanks for joining us, and looking forward to coming on to talk about the Great Escape.
Absolutely. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah, man. Have a good night.
Yep.
Thanks, John.
Hey,
Night.
John.
All right.
Let's
He's
see.
back.
He's back.
That's my fault. Yeah. So John Epp, you don't think you'd come on for an episode?
I'd have to really dig into a good movie.
No,
It
you
hasn't been done yet.
wouldn't. You're like you're a museum ship curator. I know you have favorite movies. It doesn't necessarily have to be about a naval war film.
I got
So-
a couple for you, John.
Go.
Okay.
What do you got?
Philadelphia Experiment
Yeah.
Horrible
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
or Philadelphia Experiment 2.
Yeah, because those technically are on a destroyer escort.
Yeah.
The hell was that? Come on,
What?
We could have had the Eldridge instead of the Slater.
Eldridge. Sorry.
Well, we could have had
You
the
would've-
Eldridge and the Slater.
You know,
That's like-
John, just knowing you would hate having the Eldridge so much because you'd be answering the same question every single day.
Which is what?
Did take
What,
part
was
in the
the Philadelphia
experiment.
experiment true?
Oh. I see what you. Yeah.
Did it actually disappear? Was
Were
that
people
the-
fused into the walls?
We'll never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. One of the things I like about Armchair Commanders, I should have talked to John while he was on, but so his partner Jack is sarcastic as hell.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. And wait, where was it? It wasn't Jolie's comment. It was Chopper out of Australia. Wait, Chopper's out of or is he out of New Zealand? I think
maybe
Chopper's
it is New
Australia.
Zealand.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Chopper, where are you from?
Yeah, it's Australia or New Zealand. But anyway, so Chopper makes a comment. Yeah, the episode I was on was so long that Jack chopped off his toes. Oh, he's out of Australia. Okay. Chopped off his toes to get out.
You and your
I
mate,
see it.
Jimmy Lofton.
I took it personally when they didn't like U-571.
Oh,
I did. Jack. Anyway, so I got another question for you guys. Who in the hell is this person?
He's been
so
popping
she
up
might
in
still be
our live
on,
streams.
man.
Yeah, Jolie has.
I think,
Yeah, well,
he
I don't-
follows, and I may be wrong. I think he follows All American Travels because that's where I've started encountering him.
yeah.
No, Jolie started with our museum ship Mafia. Like,
Really?
I remember.
Then you got it, John. Yeah, thanks. Jolie's been on fire tonight with the comments.
Yes,
And it's like I don't recognize the name, so I apologize. But yeah, great comments.
Listen, I'm just going off the name and the picture. Yeah, she's been on our museum ship Mafia for a while now.
Okay. Then I apologize. I didn't notice. I mean, obviously, Lego History Sam, Chopper 73, Eric, Hoist the Jack, of course, Kenny G, Old Man Kenny G. You guys always have great comments, but then Jolie's been firing a ton, and
So
it's
busy
like,
night.
I don't know who this person is. Yeah.
I responded and said she'll live to regret it or something.
All right, let's.
So we've got to do the whistling from. Jesus, I don't, Bridge over River Kwai, something like
Yeah.
that. We have to do the whistling. So let's all put that in our wheelhouses for next time that we can whistle.
But I can't whistle.
Well, me
I can't.
neither. I'm not going to whistle her.
I can't whistle.
Didn't you know Canadians can't whistle?
Huh?
I
They're
snap my
just-
fingers.
Sorry about that, but
All right, let's get into what's going on with you guys, and we're going to start off with Tim Nesmith, superintendent of the USS Kidd. If for those of you that aren't aware, the Kidd is having a little bit of a vacation right now.
Spotty.
Yeah. So what's the latest and greatest with the Kidd?
Latest and greatest with the Kidd. We had Franklin Clay, curator of the Missouri, visit us last Thursday. And literally yesterday, we had Ryan and Libby from Battleship New Jersey down at the dock. They made a quick 24-hour dash down, and we did some live streaming. We filmed 3 videos that'll be coming out, 2-parters. So you'll see it premiere part 1 on New Jersey and part 2 on Kidd. So a little cross-pollination.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Kidd goes, they have begun work cropping, and they haven't replaced yet, but they've been cropping some of the touch points in the hull where we were having the troubles. So they're getting started on that. They have blasted and zinced the bow, and as of yesterday, they had on the main deck, they had blasted just the decks, not the superstructure or the guns, but just the decks on the main deck from the bullnose at the front of the ship all the way back to the breakwater. And they have started on the 01 level, next level up, and they have that all the way back to midships where the quad 40s would sit between the stacks. And the entire bridge level deck, pilot house level deck, is blasted, as is the flying bridge up around the Mark 37 Director. And when I walked off the dry dock, they had this guy perched all the way up in this picture on top of the Mark 37 Director, strapped in with harnesses and everything, with this huge pressure washer blasting the paint off of the fire control radar on top of the Director.
Oh, geez.
So they're making good headway. The fantail, they have completely replaced all the deck on the fantail, all that rotted metal, compromised galvanized metal that was back there, and reinstalled all the equipment. It's not on the dock floor anymore. It's back in place. And they have replaced the metal on the transom on the stern where that rust bloom last year that we found when we were painting. They've replaced that and got the letters that Barry with the Slater had helped us cut, and one of the gentlemen that he knew at the Hudson Valley Community College. So her name is back in place and looking good. They reached out a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I'm losing track of time, but basically said, you know what, we have more metal left over from the redecking back in the back, and you've paid for it. It's your metal. So if you can get rid of all the bunks in the last two, or the forwardmost aft berthing spaces, and get all the ammunition and everything out of 55's handling room, we can bring that replacement all the way forward on either side of the aft deck house to the K guns, the aftmost K guns, and get rid of all that cancerous metal, which was like great. They're like, we don't want to damage anything, so you got to pull it out. So we got a team together, about 6 of us, drove a budget truck down there, and we pulled out 120 or so racks, about 40 to 50 powder tanks, 5-inch powder tanks, and about 70 or more 5-inch projectiles, each weighing about 55 pounds each. By the end of it, all of us had really sore biceps and and calves, carrying that crap up the ladders. And so we loaded it. So we lifted it to load it onto an equipment carrier sitting on the fantail, and then the crane would lift it off, and then we had to unload it and load it into the truck. And then when we got to Baton Rouge, we had to unload it again. So it was like 4 times we had to move those projectiles. It was nightmarish. Really a lot of respect for the sailors that did that at Treasure Island all the damn time. Mm-hmm. So yeah, our sewage tank replacement is in place. They're going through. In fact, tomorrow I leave at 7 a.m. tomorrow to go down with another crew, and right about where those docking collars are is where our mess deck is, and we're gonna go down below that into the reefer and empty out the reefer from this old Cold War mess tables and bucket swivel seats and everything that Rizzuto's stuffed in there, and then nobody's looked at for 40 years. We've got to pull all that out because they're going to start opening up some of the panels on the refrigerator, on the freezers, so that they can access the outer hull and do work there. And you got to look at it to make sure there's no lead paint under there. So they got to have access to it. So we got to clean out the reefers. So more muscle work, more leg work tomorrow.
Tim Nesmith, he's the superintendent of the USS Kidd Veterans Museum. Check out their YouTube channel. All you got to do is search for USS Kidd Veterans Museum in the search bar, and you'll see videos like this. It's called Prop Talk. I thought this one was one of your. I really like this one. So that's
a lot of people did, except for the sailors that disagreed with me that they're not called propellers; they're called screws
or wheels or whatever. That's part of your discussion. But yeah, good episode. Tim, with the Kidd in dry dock. Tim has taken some great opportunities to put some good videos. So check out their YouTube channel. You can also find their website at usskidd.com and Facebook page also, correct?
Correct. Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube.
I'll have links for those.
And you can click donate on all of them.
Connor, thanks for pulling up the banners. So check out Tim at the USS Kidd. Let's see, coming up next at the Buffalo Naval Park. Shane, what's going on?
If you saw me during Tim's discussion and my head was like this the whole time, I've loved watching Tim's videos, but it just overwhelms me with the work that we are preparing to do, then along with the Croaker. And being a one-man team, I just get overwhelmed quite a bit. Now, I have a lot of good volunteers. What I've begun to do is clean off just a very basic. I'm very early to start, but I've got about 10 volunteers, and we tackled what was not originally the engineering blueprint space, but it turned into that. And all of those blueprints are now safely secured onto Little Rock, and then we did the sick bay, so that's all cleared out. And then when I bring them back throughout the winter and the spring, we'll be starting with the Croaker, and then I'm going to have some nice signage made that said all of the artifacts are removed to keep them safe during the dry dock process and procedure, so people will see that. But yes, I thankfully a lot of those materials that Tim was just speaking of have been removed already because of the sinking. So all of our bunks are down, and all of the pipe racks and canvases are all gone and things like that. So we would be ready, with some other work, obviously some major work, but everything could now be shifted back on after we do some serious cleaning down there. So that's what's kind of up with me. We are offering winter tours this year, so we have not done that before. I know I spoke to Shanna at the Slater, Paul at the Cod, Ryan at New Jersey, and we are beginning to open up the ships during the winter time on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. We're going to be offering guided tours, docent-led tours like someone would get during the summer. We're doing those Thursdays and Fridays, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday afternoons, we've developed other specialty tours. So there's going to be my normal curator tour, but then there's a City at Sea tour, there's a Beneath the Sea tour, there is a Combat Systems at Sea, there's a Healthcare at Sea. So you're getting the theme here. And so there's tour leaders for each of those. So I think there's like 5 tour leaders. And all of that information is available on our ticket page on the website. Of course, weather permitting and things like that. So I've been kind of working with all the tour leaders and, kind of managing that process of how that will go. So yeah, and then just, of course, the work continues on board. I would have been here a little bit earlier, but I was giving a presentation at, outside of Buffalo in a suburb. And as I was driving back, I was driving by the Niagara River, and there's usually a walkway out there that, is like a pier that's about a mile long that you could just walk and enjoy. That was underwater. So I said, oh crap, let me get down to the naval park because the water level has been extremely low. And we talked about it today, and we had a survey. We did some soundings today because the Sullivan's listing a little bit to port, and we wanted to make sure that it was no water incursion, and it's not. What she was doing, she was resting on the bottom, and then from your perspective here, she was leaning a little bit because that's the curvature of the Buffalo River. So she was completely dry and secure, but we all got, or at least I got pretty startled by that, seeing that little maybe a 2 degree, 3 degree list. So then I run down there today, and now the ship is 7 feet higher than it was just at 4:30 when I left work to go to that presentation, and the wind is whipping around. All of our brows are almost at a 90-degree angle. So I didn't realize that it was. We knew we were getting rain tonight, but I had no idea we'd be getting a wind event. So yeah, all the water's back into the Buffalo River now, and now they're all raised 6 feet from what they were, 7 feet from what they were today during the day. We'll see how it looks tomorrow. I mean, if the brows, we might not be able to get on any of our ships tomorrow because the brows are, at an angle. So, yeah, we're just kind of plugging through, I got a lot on my plate, but we all do. And I'm trying my best to successfully complete everything. I guess, it's just the way it is. So happy to do it and happy to be here. And again, apologize for being a little late. So I did text a couple of the crew, and if you've been seeing, I doubt it, but I've been slowly checking my phone to see because Paul said he might want to go down there a little bit later just to make sure how things are doing. And I told him, let me know, and I'll go down with him. We both live pretty close. So.
Oh yeah, you're like super close, aren't you? You're not literally around the corner, but just a couple minutes.
Super close. Yeah.
No.
Listen, guys, I'm working on a 12-hour day right now.
All right,
well, if I want to dance, if I want to jingle, woo, yeah.
Well, if you do go there, I hope you don't find anything negative. That's for sure. But I think I've heard you say you can literally. Is it you or John that can walk there?
Well, I think John does walk to his work, though it's pretty far. I totally can walk to work, and I never do.
Oh yeah.
Right? Is that right, John? Like you're about
a 20-minute walk.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that's me too.
Yeah.
I just never do.
Yeah.
Not for these old bones. Not anymore.
Meanwhile, I'm like a 20-minute drive from my ship.
Yeah, not that bad. But so that's really what's going on with us. Just kind of prepping for all those winter, what we're calling the Blue Nose winter tours. Everything's good. We're continuing to work with the dry dock and, kind of massage that with the city because that's a question we get all the time, right? The city owns the vessels. So the money went to the city. And now we are consulting with the city as they begin negotiations with the dry dock and the shipyards and, dredging here in the Buffalo River and tugging. They're the ones actually working with those organizations. We are behind the scenes with the city, giving them direction.
Got it. That's got to be a little frustrating.
Boring you.
No, I'm just tired. It's okay.
That's got to be a little frustrating, though.
It is frustrating. I think what we want to continue to tell the story that this is still an emergency, right? Everyone sees the ship just back up. Oh, great. Perfect. But it is far from perfect. And today's seeing that list, I immediately went into PTSD and, alarm bells, and I rankled a few people, I think, on staff, but we made sure that she was dry with soundings. And, who knows what it's going to look like tonight as the SAIS runs out again. We're going to drop down. And if we drop down to where the water was today, we will connect with the bottom again.
Which something similar is what caused the first.
Something similar
is
exactly what caused.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm getting all charged up, and maybe I should just sleep on board tonight or something.
Yep. Well,
I don't know.
sounds-
Again, this is when I'm talking to people, like I'm giving presentations or something, it's so very interesting. I always say, hey folks, you guys work, right? You work in an office building or a plaza or something. You get in your car, you drive home. You don't think of your building when you're home at night, right? You don't say, oh, how's my office building doing tonight? Well, all of us that sit here, sorry, Ken, but all of us that sit here do, right? We do think of that, right? We don't, it's like Ken, I don't know, but that's something that we do, right? Our office building is under threat all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we think of it when we get in our cars and drive away. It's just not like a 5-story office park or whatever,
Well, Shane Stevenson, Director of Collections, Curator, Buffalo and Erie County Naval and Military Park.
Talk about your cat, man. This is awesome. I didn't even see that at first.
Huh?
I didn't even see that he jumped. Is he or she?
This I'm sorry. This is Newman, and I had to skip out for a split second. And when I came back in, I didn't close the door all the way. And
Hello, Newman.
yeah, so
Newman.
yeah, and I can't. So I don't clip his claws. So his claws are, if I'm not careful, they're dug into my shoulder right now. So I don't have a choice. So we're stuck with him for a while.
This is only the second time I've seen him.
Huh?
This is only the second time I've seen him.
Well, he doesn't.
I don't think I've ever seen him.
He doesn't normally make.
I've seen him in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I always say, one of the best ways to support these guys is to check out their YouTube channel, like and subscribe, check out their content. Shane's been doing a lot, not only on YouTube, but also on Facebook when it comes to the packing up that he was describing earlier. So I'm sure you're going to be doing more of that, correct?
Yeah, it just is coordinating throughout the winter time now, right? We got to make sure it's safe, that people can come on board. I'm glad I started the process early. But that will continue.
Mm-hmm. Check out their website, buffalonavalpark.org, another way to support what they're working on. Just because they've got the funding that Shane was talking about, the city, you can still support what they do. So check out buffalonavalpark.org. Anything else you want to add?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, moving on. We've got the USS Slater in Albany, New York. John Epp, curator there. Let's see here. For their YouTube channel, search for USS Slater in the search bar, ussslater.org. What's going on?
Nothing new, really. We closed for our season at the end of November. Actually, December 1st is our final day. Similar to Shane, we've been talking about doing winter tours. If we go with it, it'd be very limited. Interior tours, you're going to see a dirty ship, all the exhibits taken apart. You'd have to book in advance. We can't just show up for that. So we'll see how that goes. It's been fun coordinating with Shane, Ryan, Paul, all those guys. So, yeah, that's it, I think.
Yeah. Like I said,
Hey, there is. Are you guys going to this? We just got word about a strip trip again in January to Philadelphia. I know Tim Rizzuto's kind of like the strip trip king, for a long time, right?
He is known for that. Yeah.
Has there been any discussion that you guys are going?
For one of the Oliver Hazard? No,
I think they're auxiliaries.
Yeah. I think
the Island is one of them.
For that.
What was that?
Whibdy Island is one of them.
The problem is a lot of these modern ships, we get very little things from them, but I'm sure we'll send a team down.
So is this, are you talking about like going to the Philadelphia Naval Yard or whatever they're calling it now, and the decommissioned ships, you just kind of roam around and see what you can take?
The Navy will invite museum ships to come down and take certain items. So I've never been. from talking to Rizzuto back in the good old days, 70s, 80s, 90s, it was much more, okay, come on down. We'll see you at the end of the day. Don't kill yourself. Take whatever you want. Sounds like nowadays it's much more.
As with a lot of
not
stuff,
the-
it's much more regulated. Right?
Yeah.
They had
You know-
some people take advantage of the system and get hurt back around 99 or so, and sell what they took, like in an army surplus store or something like that. And that's when it really locked down and got tight.
And Shane, are you going? Are you doing this? Are you going?
I
there?
am not. Our organization might.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that it's been discussed. I don't think I will go. I wasn't invited last time, and I don't think I'll be going this time.
Can you invite yourself?
Yeah. No, not really. It's fine.
Doesn't sound like it's something you're interested in. Okay.
Well, I mean, what I'll do is I'll catalog all the stuff if whatever we get, I'll catalog it when we get it back.
Mm-hmm. Copy that. All right.
To go along with what he just said, cataloging. I don't think people understand how much work goes into cataloging these collections that we get donated. Just today, we got a large archival donation, photographs and documents.
Wonderful.
And in the past 3 months, we've had 3 of those, and I'm still working on the first one. I mean,
Is
there's
it-
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items.
Yeah.
Is it a situation where they showed up at your door and said, "Oh, here you go," or did you know it was coming?
That happens sometimes, but no, generally for the larger ones, they'll reach out ahead of time. But like you said, cataloging. I mean, it's not as simple as, okay, we got this from this ship or from this person, and okay, put it in a box.
Mm-hmm.
It's very time consuming.
I mean, you know what?
Hundreds of hours.
I really, yes, I should really do a YouTube video about that. Of the backlog. I mean, and I've done thousands of manuscript collections, thousands of photographs. And I really, I mean, people see sometimes the space in the video, in the certain videos, but I should really go through what is waiting for me or whoever else takes over this job. You know what I'm saying? Like it's astounding. And you want to do it right. That's the thing. You want to catalog it right. You could do a very quick processing, right? And that is an accepted procedure of just doing the most basic processing and then if you have a citizen archivist or something like that, they can come in and do deeper levels of processing. But, even just doing a basic level is.
Shane, do you ever get this feeling when you decide to go that route and doing like a rather detailed cataloging of whatever donations, and you realize you're spending so much time on this, and in one day you get through just a few things, and you're like, am I wasting my time? Like, I'm getting paid to sit here,
right?
And it's like, you look to my right, technically I didn't get a lot done, but you kind of did.
No, it makes sense that that's a question that we always ask ourselves. Yes, and there is a stream of archival processing that is just the most basic, right?
Yep.
Everyone says it. I don't have enough time to do all of this, right? So you would just do the most basic, whatever it is, the creator, bulk of the items, and then you just throw it in with the box or throw it in the folder and you move on, knowing
You
that
forget about it for years.
you can forget about it for years, but at least something's been done to it, and that's a very valid theory to use for us that, are just lone arrangers, right? As I like to call ourselves, we're lone arrangers. Connor, John, Shane are lone arrangers.
Do you guys, speaking of lone arrangers, do you guys ever work with the, what would that be? The Naval...
NHHC?
Yeah, in Pensacola?
Yeah, we just learned over the summer we were doing every
How
year.
did you know what I was going to say? All I said was naval, and then
Pensacola is the
Naval Airs.
No, NHHC is the Navy's official history branch. It's in DC.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Think of it as the history museum, right?
Okay, so not Pensacola, but you're talking about in DC.
Yeah. We just learned this summer that we had depth charges on loan to us from the Navy from 1995.
Wow.
And the Navy had forgotten about them. Like a year later, they had forgotten that we had them, and we just realized that this year.
Do you have to give them back?
No, but they're like, okay, can you locate these depth charges?
Right.
Well, they've been painted a billion times since then. There's no markings on them, so
Yep.
sure.
And
Yep,
that's
I went through that last year with them, and they were looking for a K gun. I'm like, I got 6 of them. Pick one.
Oh yeah, there's an arbor as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're great folks to work with, but
Mm-hmm.
when out of nowhere you're like, yeah, you got items from us from 30 years ago almost. Can you find them?
Yeah, it's in doing the loan reports every year, which is a necessary step in collections work. But yeah, even I'll be like, I don't even know what they're talking about in the description, So I'll talk to NHHC and they'll say, oh yeah, we think it's this, you took a photograph out of it 5 years ago and here's the photograph or whatever it is. So it's just
that's why we don't do loans anymore. If it's something very instrumental to destroy our escorts, like a piece of equipment, we'll do a loan, but we really don't do loans anymore.
And saying that, NHHC honestly really does a great job at keeping track of it. It may be years, but they keep track of it. They know who has stuff.
Yeah, eventually they'll come across some correspondence or something.
Right. In 2001, 2002, probably around 2002, we got a call from the Center for Military History, which is the Army's version of NHHC. And they called up and they're like, you have X number of 1903, rifles, and 2 Tommy guns and a BAR. And we need you to give us pictures and status and everything. And I'm like, wait, what? We have what? And so I started digging around, and we didn't, keep in mind, we didn't have a curator. Tim and Rizzuto had left. He was the ship superintendent / curator. He had left and gone to Slater. And so I was kind of the closest thing that we had, but I was a far cry from a curator. And so I started digging around. I'm like, wait a minute, the number matches up with what's in the small arms locker. I went out and looked, and I'm like, okay, yeah, 1903s, but there's no damn Tommy gun. There's no BAR. So I called Rizzuto up and I said, hey, this guy's asking for this. Oh yeah, that's where our small arms locker came from. I'm like, okay, well, what about these 2 Tommy guns and this BAR he says that we have? And Rizzuto's like, oh no, I turned those around and sent them back to him. He said, I refused to even sign for those 3. I'm like, why? He said, because they were still active weapons. They hadn't been demilled. Oh, okay, good to know. Where can I find the paperwork? And so he sent me looking, and I found the paperwork. I found where he refused to sign for those. And I called the guy back up at CMH, and I said, so here's the situation. And he's like, oh God. I'm like, well, what's the problem? Why? We've never heard from you before. Why is this an issue? And he said, well, 9/11. He said, we're trying to track down all the weapons that we have on loan out in the world. Okay. I said, well, I've got paperwork showing what we've got, and I can send you photos. He's like, that's great. He said, but my day just became a nightmare. I'm like, why? He said, because I have 3 active weapons and nobody knows where they're at. So
yeah, that would be that would be a nightmare.
Yeah, not a good day for Center for Military History back then.
Yeah.
So we have Jolie as a new member. That green bar. What does that mean?
New member for History X?
Yeah, I think so. I think Jolie may have joined History X or may have joined the Buffalo Naval Park.
Okay.
Hey, do we get part of that? $5 or whatever?
Sure. Yeah, man. Are you a coffee drinker?
Oh, I love coffee.
Well, then there you go. That's going to pay for Don's coffee. Yeah. So whether, I'm not sure because so History X has a members section. Buffalo Naval Park has a members section, which I should mention if you're interested in becoming a member for the Buffalo Naval Park, Shane, remind me, it's $4.99. I'm a member.
It's $4.99, and yeah, that's one of those. I will continue to be making member videos. Yes.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you just posted 1 or 2 the other day.
Well, about 2 weeks ago. I've got to get back to it. I did one on the Snooks the second.
Shane, by the way, great series up in with the plane.
Oh, with the P-39s.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
good. I'm so glad you
those
enjoyed
great.
those. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed those. I think a lot of people do. And one of the movies I was going to talk about, I think there's a Russian movie coming out about the Era Cobra during World War II, and it's all in Russian, or it just came out, or something. I don't know. I'm going to have to try and find that. But,
There's a Norwegian film that apparently just came out last year about a Norwegian ship that's part of the Arctic convoys. I haven't seen it yet.
Came out in July. I heard it wasn't very good.
oh,
Yeah, it
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
really
I
good,
was
but
gonna
it's
watch
like one of the only movies that like covers that one gap where there's no
PQ-17, right?
That's it.
It's called PQ-17.
No, it's about the convoy.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's also the title, but yeah, that convoy. It's like,
or it's
They
called
wrote
the
in Murmansk
Convoy.
and-
I think it is.
Yeah.
The Convoy.
well, like the next day they woke up and like 30 of the ships had been sunk by U-boats or something.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
probably
I would love,
exaggerating.
I would love to
It's a
see.
great
That was
book
the
about
other thing. I'd love to see a movie about the Convoy ONS 5, which was kind of the turning of the Battle of the Atlantic. That would be pretty awesome, where the convoy was able to fight back and with different technology, and they sunk, I think, 7 submarines. And then from that moment on, the whole U-boat threat started to just dwindle. You know, they were sinking whatever 150, 200 a month or something.
The Arctic convoy. Okay.
Thank you, Subrams a lot. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'd like to see it, but you said it's not that good. Or
Read the book.
read
There's
the
a book
book.
called, I think, PQ-17.
All right, I'll look that up. I like to read a book if it's a movie.
Oh, it looks like so Jolie joined the Buffalo and Erie Naval Park.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jolie.
So you have a new member.
Thank you.
Yay.
Yeah,
Jolie.
thank you for supporting them, Jolie. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely appreciate it. Let's see. So we were just hearing from John Epp, curator at the USS Slater in Albany, New York. Check out their website, ussslater.org. And for the YouTube channel, do a search for USS Slater. It'll come right up. Thank you, Connor, for throwing that up there. And speaking of Connor, moving on to the Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay, the Alexander Henry, the icebreaker Alexander Henry. Connor's the what is is your title officially? I've asked you this before. Is your
Yeah.
title officially
So
curator?
technically I'm assistant collections
Got it.
and I also run their social media. I wear many a hat.
Well, and
Any-
speaking of all the hats that Connor wears, if you look at his backdrop tonight, he's actually got the Museum Ships logo. Connor, if you're not familiar, is also one of the administrators to the Museum Ships Facebook group, which is absolutely huge. How many subscribers now?
We're sitting at a little, let's see, I think a little over 130,000.
So if you're interested,
so 131.8. So we've grown by 400 people since we last had a talk.
yeah. So if you're interested in museum ships, check out the Facebook group. Connor, while he definitely handles the levers and dials for us here behind the scenes on the podcast, you know, when it comes to comments, that type of thing, is also one of the administrators to that Facebook group. So normally, Connor, we'll ask you about the Alexander Henry. Do you want to talk about the Museum Ships Facebook group tonight?
I can talk about both. Starting
Okay,
with
go
the
for it.
Henry, there's not much to talk about. We finished our Haunted Harbor event. It was very successful again this year. This was our 3rd year holding this event, and it was quite popular. And we are planning to do it again next year with our friends at Our Kids Count, which is a local nonprofit. As for museum ships, not too much is happening. However, we did celebrate our 10th anniversary this year. Well, of the website, museumships.us. The Facebook group was created about 6 years ago. And we are at this point the largest sort of collection or listing of museum ships around the world. I believe we're closing in on 500 now. But we have a lot of vessels. And if you go to our website at museumships.us, you will be able to find an interactive map where you can actually look and see where all the museum ships are in the world. And for people like myself who tend to travel at least once a year, it's a great way to plot your course and figure out what museum ships are available for you to go to. And all of you are on it. All of you are featured on museum ships.
Oh, featured.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
Any ice in the water around the Alexander Henry?
There's like ice Not around the ship itself, but I have seen a little bit like on the shorelines.
Jeez.
But,
Yeah, it is that time. Okay.
yeah.
Um,
No, we haven't gotten too much ice yet. Normally we'd be starting to get iced in by now.
and
Yeah.
going back to museum ships, the Facebook group, if things go according to plan next month, we are going to have,
The founder
yeah.
of museum ships.
Him?
The man, the
Yep.
myth, the legend.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. I sent you his email while
Yeah.
we were talking. By the way,
Yeah, I will. I'll send him a note tomorrow. But yeah, looking forward to having him on in December. That'll be the second Wednesday of December. And like I said, if everything goes according to the plan, that's a month from now. Things change.
Mhm.
But yeah, definitely would be interesting to me to learn how he put all that together.
Mhm.
And-
Very interesting guy. Love having talks with him.
Yeah, and and how he turned it into what it is now. I mean, you talk about that many followers and subscribers. That's pretty cool.
Mhm.
All right, so Connor Kilgore, Transportation Museum of Thunder Bay, www.tmtb.ca.
Yep.
Thanks for pulling that up there. And as I said a few moments ago, also check him out. One of the admins of the Museum Ships Facebook group.
I need to add that as a banner at this point.
What's that?
I need to add that as a banner at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? You should. You got the power. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, let's talk about wartime romance.
Wartime
not.
romance.
That's not.
Oh.
I'm done. I'm done.
Oh,
We can do that.
actually, I got an offline one. I can talk
What?
I can't talk about it online.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
Since when does Sean do anything that's
I'm confused.
got it?
Yeah. I'm yeah. So just so it's clear for the
It's
viewers.
too risque. For,
Yeah. So it's clear for the viewers. Why don't you just say again what it is that you're not going to be able to talk about right now?
an encounter on a destroyer escort in World War II.
Oh,
An encounter on a destroyer escort in World War II. Okay.
I'm
let's
gonna put
call
that
it the
right.
encounter.
I'm gonna put that right at the top. There.
All right. If there isn't anything else
Yeah,
from these
everyone.
guys, I'm going to say my name is Ken Stano from the YouTube channel History X. We definitely enjoyed having you on tonight to talk about all the things that are wrong with World War II war movies. Like I said a few moments ago, next month we'll be talking about talking to Pims from the Museum Ships Facebook group. So stay tuned. Second Wednesday of the month. If there isn't anything else from these guys, just happy to have you with us. Can't do this without viewers and subscribers. So definitely thank you for your support. Again, my name's Ken from the YouTube channel History X. Hope everyone has a good evening.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Not everybody.
Good night.